banks using their fiat currency. We're doing it every day. So people that bitch about Bitcoin are just using their credit cards and their ATM cards and using the fiat currency and supporting that whole system. Why don't you support another system that isn't connected to the governments, isn't connected to the banks? Right? They're like, Bitcoin is a government psyop, whatever. Fiat's a government psyop. It's worse. Okay, it's absolutely insane.
Government is a psyop.
Yeah, the whole thing, right? Government is all in your mind, and when you disconnect, it's fantastic.
Wait, before you go, we got somebody joining in. Hey, Curtis.
Yo.
Welcome.
Curtis. Hey, boys.
Curtis, I'd like you to know on my wall, I have a chart with the fastest way to high ground, just in case.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
I told speakers underneath it.
I told the story of you sending out maps. This is where to run to.
That's right, man. I'm prepping for you guys.
It's only 9 miles.
Yeah. I got you covered if the shit hits the fan.
Yeah. If anyone at the conference would be doing it, I would expect it to be you, right? You're the
absolutely
off-grid self-sustainability.
Yeah,
Dave was.
I was just listening a little bit. I've been listening for about 10 minutes, and I like what you guys are talking about. Dave, good to see you, brother. Sam, good to see you. Steve, Mike, not Steve, Mike. Yeah, thanks for the invite, Mike. That was cool to see that this morning.
Well, I'm glad you're here. It's fun. It's fun to talk to you again. And
Curtis, that was your first Anarchapulco, right? You've been invited a million times, but it's the first time you could break away from the farm.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Nice.
I hope to see all you guys down there next year too. I'm going to see Sam at Confluence. Are you going to be there, Mike or Dave?
No, I'm not going to be at Confluence, but I'll be at Music and Sky in June.
Oh, cool.
Are you going to that?
When is Confluence?
No, I'm not.
Confluence
is this coming week on Thursday.
Yeah. Where?
Close to San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, I didn't even know about
Bandera, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know about it. So,
we're going to be right in the eclipse. We're going to be watching NASA shoot those rockets at the shadow.
Yeah, no kidding. That's crazy.
Isn't it insane?
They're shooting 3 rockets, right, to see what it's like in darkness or shade. I think they're literally trying to hit whatever the eclipse is.
They're trying to figure out what the hell's there. That's what I think too.
Right. And then at the same time, they're powering up CERN, and that's going to go full power on the 8th.
It's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
I hope
I just learned yesterday that like eight of the planets are going to line up.
I saw that too.
At the eclipse. Also,
what? Get out of here! I'm going up to Buffalo, New York, 6-hour drive, and I know the chances of clear skies are minimal.
You think they're just going to chemtrail it out so nobody can see?
I saw a chart on the news, chance of visibility during the eclipse, and everywhere except like Texas is total overcast. Yeah.
Tell the truth, Dave. You know you're going into your billionaire bunker. That's your plan.
No, multi-millionaire bunker, not billionaire bunker. Multi-billionaire on my many properties.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Haters are gonna hate no matter what. So
man, it's crazy how people hate on the flat earth thing so much. I can't get my head around it. Because I haven't come out and made any claims of I'm this or that. I don't feel like I need to. I don't care. I like all you guys. I like Flat Earth Dave. Why do I have to? This whole thing of pick a side, it's so annoying because it's the thing. It's another hoodwink to me in that they're just trying to get the intellectuals into these compartments. Like climate change does that. Your stance on Israel does that. Flat Earth does that too. But here's the thing. It's so annoying because it's how can you not question the moon landing? Whether you're a flat earther or not, how can you not see that is insane? And all the other insane things that NASA does, to me, it's just like, why is it so bad that people are questioning the whole thing when there's so much bullshit? Yeah,
Curtis, you said that you don't have to take a stance, but gun to your head, is the Earth a globe?
Definitely not.
Okay, that's
I
it.
think the thing that came out of the Anarchapulco was globe
You don't have to
skeptic,
take a stance,
right?
Yeah,
I'm
you don't have
not
to
a
take a
flat
stance on that.
earther,
No,
but I do
that's what
not
I'm saying.
accept any of the fucking bullshit that they've told us, because it's
it.
obviously full of holes and lies.
That's the only thing that matters, is getting off of their globe lie. Get out of their globe lie. Get back to nature. You're in nature.
Yep.
You get your feet in the
I'm in
ground.
nature. I can see it.
Yeah, and that's what matters. Now, what is the Earth? Hey, talk to Presti. He's got a whole nother idea, right?
Exactly.
And there's so many different things. That's all awesome. We need to talk about all of it, but we're not on a heliosatanic ball flying through an infinite space vacuum.
Dude, the thing that really tripped me out last week was the moon was out during the day, and the sun, I could see it, was over here. And the light on the moon made no sense with where the sun was supposed to be. And I'm just sitting here
every month.
And I showed my wife, and I'm like, isn't that surreal? Like, this does not make any sense based on what we're told. And I'm observing an inconsistency in what I can see. It doesn't line up with what I witness in nature. It's crazy.
Yeah. On the last day of the conference in Denver in 2018, I walked out of the conference center and I looked up at the moon, and I observed exactly what you're talking about. Because if you've got the curve of the moon and you do a perpendicular line, the sun should be coming from that direction. Yep. It was off by 45 degrees. I filmed it. I'm not going to go looking for it, but I've got it on my phone. That 45 degrees, like, the sun should be up there and it was down over here. And I'm like, does this make any sense?
It doesn't make any sense. So that's the thing. What I'm realizing is that, because I've only been on Twitter for about 6 or 8 months or something like that. I took a long break from social media, but I'm on there sharing stuff that I see. And anytime that anything gets posted that is even remotely associated with flat Earth, the bot accounts just surge the post, and they just troll and say dumb shit and don't make good arguments, but just call names and post memes. So I don't know. It's like when you're over the target, the bot accounts come out. That's kind of what I'm experiencing.
100%.
I think it's a false dichotomy. I saw early on that they're trying to pit the globers against the flat earthers, but neither. I always saw the model as probably being beyond our comprehension ultimately, and that I latched on years and years ago to the toroid as a kind of a, I don't know, the master shape. That there you have your globe and your flat surface, and a reason that the compasses point to the north.
Yeah, here we go.
We get our aurora borealises and all these things. So I think it's it's beyond the beyond. It's far out than we can comprehend, and we can't get outside of it. So what's the point of squabbling over it? I think globe skeptic is definitely the way to go.
Yeah. What Dave is sharing here is exactly what I saw, maybe a week or two ago.
That's exactly what I saw.
My wife and my kids, and we're just going, what's going on here? That makes no sense.
The math ain't mathing.
No, Dave, what do you think that? What does that explain to us there? What's your theory on that?
I mean, just the whole idea of how the moon is lit. I mean, when you look at the moon, why is it so bright like that? I mean, first, it doesn't line up, so the whole heliocentric model is off. But I'm trying to find an image I have. The moon, why is it behaving like a light? Right? Why is it like, if you put the sun on a bright rock, is that going to light you up? Can you read by the light that's coming off that rock? No, right. This is a light. This is a light in the sky.
Yeah.
Right. And so that alone, like here are some shiny cement spheres in the middle of the day. How come they're not casting light, casting my shadow behind me?
Exactly. Is there a different special kind of glowing soil on there or something?
And we're right next to these things, right? The moon is 250,000 miles away, so that light would be dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. It wouldn't even be this bright.
Yeah.
And look at it. It's literally, you can read. It casts your shadow on the ground. And then the whole cold light thing. So what is the moon? I don't think anyone knows, and I think it's deeply connected into the removal and deliverance of souls here on Earth. That's just me. That's my opinion. I think
that's why when there's a full moon, there's always weird shit going on, esoteric stuff going on. It's a big soul harvest. Huh.
Right.
Yeah, the inverse square law of light. Every time you halve the distance, the intensity should be 4 times greater.
Right.
So if it's 236,000 miles, 100 and what is that? 100.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
116, 4 times brighter.
Like 60 times brighter
4
than
times
the sun.
brighter, 34 times bright. Yeah, by the time you get to the surface of the moon, in order for the sun's light to reflect off of the moon and be bright enough to read a book by during the full moon, it would be so bright. It'd be thousands, if not millions of lumens. Yeah, someone said
I think we calculated once, it was like 60 times brighter than the sun. You can't even imagine what twice the sun's brightness is. Can you imagine something twice as bright as the sun? No, you can't even imagine it. And the math says that's what it would have to be. You know, it's crazy. And
what
the
about
fact that I could, good.
Oh, I was just going to say, I wanted to kind of just slightly change the subject, but it's still on flat Earth. What's the theory of what's at the North Pole? Because you've seen that clip of Justin Trudeau where he's like, "When I went up there with my father, I sure felt special." You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like there's some special castle up there that's I don't know. I've seen these old maps that show this like big castle in there. What do you think that's all about, Dave?
I don't know. I mean, you guys have seen that vortex in the North Pole, right? There some Russian guy years ago filmed. I'm trying to see where I have it. Filmed this vortex in the north, and of course I can't find it right now. So I don't know. I mean, there's the North needs exploring just like the South does, but there could be a whole civilization there. I mean, the stories of boats going in there and warmer waters and the magnetics pulling the nails out of the wooden boats. I mean, there's crazy stuff going on there.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Compass's point there as well. Going back to the moon, since you have it on the screen there, one of the big ones for me is the temperature differences between moonlight and moon shade. I mean, that makes no sense whatsoever in the model we've been given that moonlight would be absorbing radiant heat in some fashion. I mean, Theoria Apophysis, Ken Wheeler, he's got a video on his channel where he's got a very expensive infrared camera. And I've worked with that same camera when I was in Sweden. I was part owner of a computer company that we incorporated those cameras into our assessment software so that we could use them for chiropractic, for looking at where people have pain, because inflammation increased heat, right? So we had one of those, and I got to work with that camera directly, and they're accurate to 1/10 of a degree. Well, Ken Wheeler's going out on a full moon night into his yard where there's tables and chairs, and you can see the complexity of everything, but it's all in color because it's infrared, and you can see the temperature range. And in that video, there were temperature ranges of as much as 8 degrees difference between moon shade and moonlight.
I think he went into that.
Shade is warmer.
Whoa, look at this. Dave. Hey guys, I'm simulcasting this on my YouTube channel.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
so there's another. I got 85 and climbing in there. When we came into StreamYard, I've never used this, but it gave me the option. Do you want to simulcast this? And I just clicked it, and there we go. There's 85 people and growing in my channel too. Isn't that cool?
Wait.
Oh,
so
cool.
this is allegedly filmed from years ago of the North, and this is another filming of it, right? But if you zoom in, you see this mountain sticking up through the clouds.
Far out.
And There's I gotta find it. There's if you look at the wind charts, like if you go on my app actually shows it sometimes. You could see that the winds are there's something that's diverting the winds, and this mountain is supposedly taller than Everest, right? And it's they say the north is the Rupus Nigra, or the Black Rock, right? Who runs the world? Black Rock. And who knows? I don't know. I want the right to go explore, but
absolutely.
Who knows what's going on there?
The wind map that you mentioned, that area, you can see flow around that point, just like a rock in a river, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
You've got a laminar flow and then turbulent flow after it. It's pretty far out, and then that I can't remember what the website is that you're on there, but it's interesting. The winds aloft also, when you look at the jet streams on a globe, they make no sense. They're like zigzagging all over the place.
I've seen that.
And then when you look at the azimuthal equidistant there, the pizza shape, they're concentric circles that are going in opposite directions. So it's like the further out you go out a bit, and then it's just it makes way more sense on a
sometimes
disc.
Sometimes you can zoom in here. This is a test version. It's supposed to fill up the whole frame, but of course it's not right now.
Sorry, folks. This is my first time using StreamYard, so I don't know how to make it full screen so you can see that better.
But this is showing the winds, and sometimes you could find that mountain that's diverting the winds.
That's suspicious, don't you think?
Yeah, don't you think?
The time zones is another one that's a real crazy when it's on the globe. All these going around this island and all this stuff makes no sense at all.
You had in your presentation in Mexico this island. What was that little tiny? It was like a little tiny island that was worth billions and billions of dollars.
Kiribati.
Tell people about that.
They keep funding Kiribati with billions of dollars because it's a very important trade route. But I think that it's a trade route to the outer lands. But again, we don't know. There's tons of. Did I get into the whole Kiribati things with the boats going out there? But just speaking of time zones real quick, there's 19 time zones in the north, 24 in the tropics, and 32 in the south. Does that make any sense on a globe?
None.
Right? That sounds to me like a flat earth that they wrapped around a globe. Right? It should be like orange sections in an orange. Perfect, north to south, 24 sections, but it's not. So.
Yeah, and then up between Alaska and Siberia, Russia, there's also two islands that are right next to each other that have like 5 time zone differences between them or something.
So no, it's they say that there's a 20 hours difference, but it's not 20 hours difference because the date line's there. It's 3 hours difference, and it's 3 hours because the time zones are all screwed up. They're all nonsensical. It's perfectly explainable on how they hide everything. If I show you, what was I looking for? I have the time zone. Where'd it go? Antarctica. There it is. So if we go to here, 1 second. The time zones. Here we go. So this is the date line. Right. And so you're talking about the islands up here. This is 3.5 time zones here. So who knows what's going on right here? So if you have somebody here and somebody right here, or somebody like say there's an island right here and right here, you can say there's a 23-hour time difference because it's a different day. No, it's not. That's an arbitrary thing. Noon is where the sun is. Midnight is when the sun is on the opposite side of the world. That's it. Right. And so there are your time zones.
No, but that makes perfect sense to me.
Right? And
Totally
people say, you're married to the AE map. I like the AE map. I think it's the best map that we have. But wherever the sun is, it's noon. Like right now, Curtis, are you in California?
No, but I'm on the same time zone. 12. It's noon right now.
It's noon right now, and the sun's right there. The sun's right there. And it's not directly above you. It's a little south.
Yeah, for me,
It's a little south.
It's
And
further south
it's
than it is those guys in California or Sam in California.
and it's coming closer to you. In June, it'll be this close to you, so it'll be much higher in the sky at noon. And then if I
Yeah.
waited until the sun was over here and I called my friend, in Sydney, I'd say, "Where's the sun?" He'd be like, "It's right above me." I'd be like, "What time is it?" He'd be like, "Noon." So there's something to this math.
Dave, well, what do you say to the guys that say one of the criticisms is that in the winter, in our winter, when the sun's lower in the sky, if it was further out on the map, that Australians and New Zealanders would experience the sun moving faster because it would be
So-
tracking more area, right? You know what I mean?
It does move faster. That's the thing. Because think about this, and this is hard for people to get their minds around. So your amount of daylight is all dependent on your latitude and the topography. Because like if there's mountains west of you, it's going to block the sun at the very end of the day, so it's going to get darker a little faster. Okay,
Right.
So when the sun is going around the Tropic of Cancer, it goes around once every 24 hours. And so it's going slower. When it goes out here, it's going faster. Okay. Fact. Right. So in our summer, I'm in Connecticut, our days are longer. Our twilight is longer. Right. In the summer, in June and July, the sun will set and it's light for another 2 hours.
Yes.
Now, why is that? The answer is because the sun is moving slower in a tight circle. It's moving slower and going away. And when it's far enough away, I'm over here, it'll take all of its light with it. So when the sun goes out south, farther away, lower in the sky, we have shorter days. Okay. And the transition from sunset to darkness is much faster. That's just a fact. Same for you.
True. Yeah, it's observable, right?
But if the Earth was a globe, as my transition from sunset to darkness is getting shorter, theirs would get longer because it's coming down to the Tropic of Capricorn on the globe is the same circle as Cancer on a globe. It would be symmetrical. So their days will be getting longer, which they do. But the transition from sunset to pitch black should get longer. But from June to December, it gets shorter for everyone on Earth. And from December to June, it gets longer for everyone on Earth.
Wait a second. I got to get my head around that. You're losing me on that one.
So if let's say you're in Australia, and I don't care what the date is, doesn't matter.
Okay.
And the sun sets, and you're like, okay, it's dark in 25 minutes. It's pitch black in 25 minutes, and that's in December. No, let's say whatever December.
Because it's okay.
Because whatever it is, it's unique for your area. But because the sun is running away faster, the transition is faster. Okay, the transition from darkness, but it should be opposite. As it's longer for the north, it should be shorter.
You would
in the south.
expect it to be opposite, right?
It would have to be symmetrical, but it's not. And
Right.
as the sun is speeding up, the transition for everyone on Earth is faster. There's places in the south at certain times of the year when the sun sets, it's pitch black in 5 minutes, and that's because of their topography, their latitude, and the sun's running away, and mountains in the distance literally just block all of the light. But everything looks like it's a horizon, a horizontal eye zone, and it just runs away. All of this, here's the problem. A lot of flat earthers that are really good, that have worked their brain muscle thinking about this stuff, really have a hard time understanding this fully. So you really got to look into it and work it. But globers, they can't follow this at all. So is this a good proof? It's hard because globers won't even understand it, right?
Mhm.
The transition from sunset to pitch black gets longer as the sun approaches Cancer, and it gets shorter for everyone on Earth as the sun approaches Capricorn. Shorter because the sun is running away faster, longer because the sun is circling slower. Right? And then people think that well, if the sun's going faster, they would have a shorter day. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Let me show you. So if if the sun goes around like this, right? I gotta find out. I have a dome. Hold on. I have a glass dome. Where's my glass dome?
Dave, I'm getting your green screen set up. I got inspired after we talked, and I ordered a bunch of your gear.
Nice. So I got right here. I have a glass dome just sitting on a white rug, and I'm moving a light across. Now, if I was making the light go in a circle, and if I made it in a small circle around the top, everyone inside there, you would still have your half of the radius. You would see the sun rise and set. Look, the sun's gone. Now I'm bringing it back. It'll just appear. It just appears like it appears on the horizon, and it moves along. And then if I made a bigger circle, you'd still have the same 180 degrees of seeing that light. Even though it's going faster, it's going, the 180 degrees is taking the same amount of time. It's 180 degrees on Capricorn is a longer route than 180 degrees on Cancer. But the viewer from inside the dome is going to see it for the same amount of time. It's only when the sun goes beyond the horizon that its light goes away, and that's because it's running away at whatever speed. I gotta come up with some graphics. There's a really
I'm still having a hard time getting my head around it, because I think it just needs. It's hard with all this because none of us really. All we can see for certain is that there's flaws in the conventional logic, the conventional science, but it's so speculative when we get into the realm of this is what it is, because Globers can't prove their evidence any more than flat earthers can, because all they can do is present stuff that isn't by them. One thing I like about the flat earth thing in general, though, is that it's going into this hard science of observable science, whereas so much of conventional science is not observable, like the greenhouse effect. They tell you that there's a greenhouse effect, but I can't observe it anywhere in nature. I'm a farmer and I use greenhouses, and I've been into greenhouses that pump carbon into them, but I can't see this. I can't observe this alleged greenhouse effect. You know,
right.
So it's a lot of stuff like that where you're just like, if I can't observe it in nature, it's hard to understand.
Like atmospheric pressure adjacent to a vacuum.
Exactly. How has anybody proven that? You can't. You just have to trust the science. You just have to trust the experts, right?
Gravitational gradient.
Yeah.
I think I've heard Dave many times. You know, he it's like he's got the app and he's using the azimuthal equidistant, but he has admitted many times he doesn't know exactly what the shape is. Like, you can't get outside of our construct in order to verify it, and the people who claim to have done so are provable liars. So I think you know, it's basically the Globers are always like, well, where's your model? Show us your model. We can predict eclipses and we can do all these things, but they don't understand just like the most basic logic when it comes to, if you're asserting something and you're presenting a model and claiming that's the truth, and someone is debunking that, you know, they don't have to present something else that functions in order to shoot down your, you know, your theories. So it's, you know, you don't have to present a functioning model to debunk a faulty model. That's my point.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, I got to go to lunch, but I thought I'd just make a little cameo, and I appreciate the invite.
All right,
it was great. Thanks for dropping by, Curtis. It was a lot of fun, and same to you, Dave. And
see ya.
Good to see you both.
Until next time, Sam and I will keep going here because I got a little more to share.
Have fun, boys. Take care.
Bye. See you soon, Curtis.
So, Sam, any thoughts? You've been quiet for about an hour now. Someone in the chat.
It's because I'm with my family in the Airbnb here, so I'm trying not to disturb the thing.
Got you. Someone's like, Sam is so quiet. I'm like, he likes to listen.
I do like to listen. That's true, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun. It was like a little Anarchapulco reunion there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me see. I can't remember what else I have here to show. Anything? Thoughts cross your mind on stuff that was being said?
I mean, I always appreciate when, like, it was like Curtis was saying, at least for us globe skeptics, we are trying to, use, like a zetetic, like we're actually using observation to try to make some sense of this stuff. And especially after the last 3-4 years of COVID nonsense, it's nice to be able to just use your senses, right? Not just to have to trust the experts. So, I mean, that always stands out to me. And I don't feel like I need even myself to have to take a position. I do think, like you said, it's a false dichotomy. I'm good enough at just saying I'm a globe skeptic, and then still just observe. I mean, I every day when I'm out here in the world, I'm just looking at things. I'm like, oh, that can't be right. Everything. It's not just the shape of the earth, but it's like all these buildings that I'm looking at in Prague right now. It's like that doorway's too big. Why'd they make it so big? And what are those little spires on those buildings? Just everything. I think it's fun just to challenge everything at this point. That's the way I look at it.
This scientific method used to be based on scientific inquiry.
Thought so.
That's what I was taught in school anyway.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many people get triggered when you just start asking questions about observable reality and things that you can actually point at and go, why is this that way when we're told it's another way? And they lose their shit. It's pretty interesting to see how triggered they can get. So let me just show you here. So after coming back from California, I landed back in the town, went back to work, and did a little hiking, and then met up with these guys. So did you know you knew Steve came down to visit us?
Yeah, I knew he was going to be there. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So he came down to hang out and to work on a song that they had been collaborating on. I think the lyrics were Steve's. This is a buddy of ours, Howard. And hold on, somebody just sent me a message. I want to make sure it's not something related to, I don't even know where it came in. I heard a little bloop. Anyway, so yeah, we had a great time, got together and had some beers, some smoke, and they played they're just amazing, both of them. And I'm gonna share it. Have you seen the song they did together? This is not I have to clarify this picture. This is not him praying. This is him doubled over in laughter because of a song that we collaborated on that is just hilarious. So he and Steve did a song that I'm gonna play here in a moment. Several other channels have played it. It's been well loved by many, but at one point we were out having a drink, taking a break, and talking about these the globe defenders and how they can be. And I blurted something out that ended up becoming a song. So I don't want to give it away yet, but it's going to have a lot of people in stitches and probably offend a bunch of people as well. But so we were laughing so hard he couldn't support himself anymore, and he had to get down on the ground. So it was a good time. It was just 4 days, and it was literally nonstop. I had to work one of those days, and then they put out the most amazing song together, and they got it. This is him listening to it. Where's here we go. All right, I don't want to blast people's ears. Let's play this one, and this is Conspiracy Music Guru Alex Michael with Steve Falconer of the Space Busters channel. He's done amazing work. He's a professional musician, but he's also a documentary filmmaker. He's done videos that have been seen by millions of people. It's got series called Kung Flu, and a farewell to virology in 3 parts. And I highly, highly recommend Steve's work, and he covers a really broad spectrum of topics. So let's just listen to this song here. 4, 5, 6.
No, you don't care what they're gonna do. You don't like worrying about things that are bigger than you. While your husband and children are sent off to war, you hang up your flag, miss, don't ask much more. You think your side is winning, but you don't know the score. There aren't peace in the East, we are the best in the West. We don't reason very well wearing bulletproof vests. It ain't money that's power, it's knowledge that's king. Better open your eyes, sir, they ain't the same thing. You don't have either, and that's why you're down. That ain't never gonna change while your head's in the ground. They don't want you going anywhere except 6 feet underground. By believing in those dog-lying wolves on the screen, whose words you believe in, whose pockets are green. While you're green with envy, you guess it's okay, long as everybody else is getting stepped on the same way. You think you have freedom, but you'll wake up someday. So they tax you and drug you and work you to death. They defeat you and cheat you until your last breath. Then they poison your body and waste all your time. Then they pull on your strings, but it's all in your mind. You think you make choices, but you're just last in line. They'll be churching you, schooling you, ruling you through, selling you and telling you what's good for you to do. They abuse you, confuse you, and use you each day. Then they paralyze you, sterilize you, that's how they play. And you trust them, you lust them, you do anything they say. Then they make you their pet, 'cause you signed your name away. You think you have freedom, but you'll wake up someday, but still you play. Yes, you think you have freedom, but you'll wake up someday. There's just no way. You think you have freedom, but you'll wake up someday.
Where'd we go? There we are. Which button do I press? It started over. Still with me, Sam?
I'm here. Sorry. Just trying to
All right.
mute out the room noise. Sorry.
Yeah. So let's see. That's pretty much everything I wanted to share today. I just want to show this event. And let me post again the link here to it. There's a promo code for a discount, and it's bound to be an amazing event.
Definitely.
I should have had this ready to go, but the Gathering 2023, 24 lineup. Here we go. this is going to be their 6th year, and I'm kind of jealous I didn't get to go to previous years. But Bear Lando, he's Mike Winner's what do you say, partner in crime for Alpha Vedic. Great channel. If you're not sub to that, they've got some of the best content on the internet, in my opinion. So these two guys are just an incredible tag team. I've not heard of Rynette, and Eileen McCusick was she in Mexico or no?
She was not in Mexico. She did run for governor of the last political cycle. Not that matters, but she was a mayor of, I believe it was Nevada City. Anyway, she's a big activist type, and she's actually, I think, is currently involved in potentially using legal maneuvers to get the chemtrailing stopped, at least here in California. Anyway, she's a fun person. She was at Music and Sky before. She's an alumnus. Yeah.
Cool. Eileen McCusick, she's in the Friday group, but I haven't had a chance to dive into her work at all. Maybe you could say a few words
Biofield
about
tuning. That. She's 25 years into working with tuning forks and using them both as a diagnostic tool, but also as a way to help. I don't want to say cure, but as a healing modality, I guess. The whole thing's called biofield tuning, is what she's basically invented, that system. And she has all kinds of practitioners. She's trained all over the world, actually. So
what is it? The Universe
podcast? You talking about Chance?
Chance Gardner, he does that as well, right? Did he?
Yeah, he's a practitioner trained by Eileen. That's correct.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it's an interesting subject for sure. And Amanda Vollmer, she's the one and only. She's amazing. What a dynamo. She's everywhere doing everything all the time. I don't know how she does it. But she's done loads and loads of work with, she was part of the end of COVID, and she's produces all kinds of natural healing remedies, and is a truth fighter extraordinaire, and not afraid to speak her mind. Alex Zek, he's awesome. The Way Forward podcast. I met Sophia and Yerasimos in Mexico. They were really wonderful people. Also, both of them were speakers at the conference. I don't know Melissa and Steve. Paula Pratt.
That's Melissa Sell. Melissa Sell and her partner. Melissa does a lot of German new medicine stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and Dawn Lester I mentioned earlier. She worked with oh shoot, his name just slipped my mind. I talked about him before.
David Parker.
Yeah, David Parker, who was just interviewed by Steve Falconer on Spacebusters. I was listening to the first half of that before doing this live stream. Yeah, I met him. He was a really nice guy, and they worked together on a book called "What Really Makes Us Ill," or "What Really Makes You Ill." Joel Schaefer, wonderful shaman, and he's remarkable as well. Justin Leslie, this is the guy who's been doing the whistleblowing on Pfizer and on the O'Keefe Media Network, and showing how O'Keefe buried stuff that he was trying to expose about Pfizer. And that is just, he's done some amazing stuff. He's got a documentary out, and was just recently interviewed by, who was it?
Alec interviewed.
By Alec. Yeah. Watch the Way Forward interview with Justin Leslie. That is amazing, what he did and what he revealed. Really brave young man. He's only like 25, super bright. And then Adam Bigelson, we mentioned, with the holographic blood. So already, and this is just I guess the first wave of speakers. There's going to be others as well. And I played the 5 Times August song earlier in this stream. Really great song. He's a really talented artist. Winsome Kind, we're also in Mexico, and did some beautiful music. And the others I haven't heard of, but it's going to be fun. So come. I posted a link in the notes, and it'd be fun to meet some of you. Adam Biggleson is in the house. Wait a minute.
As I'm trying to text. You guys there?
I just saw you there. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Adam.
Good to see you.
I've been
like
talking about you.
Texting him like, I'm here. Just texting Sam. Hey, it's me. What's up?
I'm sorry. You're not the first. I haven't wanted to have my notifications on, but the thing is, it's a small screen with StreamYard, and when you get 4 people, the 5th one goes down, and so you've got to scroll down. So both Dave Weiss and Curtis Stone were like, "Hey, I'm here. You gonna let me in?" No, nice. I'm not gonna let you.
Joys of technology. Yeah, I was texting. I was saying, "Oh, sorry, I missed your text earlier today," and I clicked, and I thought, "Oh, wait, you're live! Yay! Awesome! Nice to see you guys.
Even better. Yeah, awesome to see you again. And
perfect time.
Voice and yeah, I played a little bit of you were playing some music. I did some video clips from Max's bar, and
the shame.
Talked very briefly about your It was I told people it was a bunch of people who never played together, so give them a break. You know?
Yes.
No, but it was fun. Definitely fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I mentioned a little bit about your family's work, which is absolutely amazing. Talking, I wasn't able to describe it very well because I haven't seen enough beyond your presentation in Mexico. But maybe you can just tell people a little bit about what you did, or what your family has done and
what
shown.
My family has done. Crazy things. Good to see you, Sam. By the way, yay. And we're all going to be at Music in Sky. Is that true? Yes. Awesome.
I saw your name there. I just said it, and then you were there. It's like
yes.
In Swedish they say "speak of the troll." We say "speak of the devil," but in Swedish they say "speak of the troll." So.
Nice. I don't know. I'd rather be a troll than a devil, I guess. Right. Cool.
Definitely.
Anyways, yes. Good to see you too, Sam. So my family's work. Dun, 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 we do the holographic blood. Hours of fun for the whole family. The drop of blood, we're using the dark field microscope, but not doing live blood analysis. For those of you guys that don't know.
Can you just explain to people what a dark field microscope is? Because most people are probably not familiar with that.
Sure. It's a different type of microscope. What happens with the typical microscopes are bright field. So you put the slide there, and then the light goes right through the sample. So ours dark field, the light doesn't go straight through the sample. It's actually kind of bounced off the sides in a way. So it's one of the elements.
So it's kind of illuminating the area around the sample.
Yeah. There's only so much detail I can go into that one. You got to talk to the physics teacher about it, or the optical guy. But the simple experience is this is how holograms are made. You're splitting a beam. You're seeing an interference field, and we see interference fields in the body on the slide, and the microscope splits the beam. So it gives us the elements that we need to see things that you don't see with the bright field microscope.
Oh, I didn't understand that part. So because I basically to make, like, people who've seen holographic pictures, where you can cut a piece of it and it's got not a corner of the picture, but a smaller version of the whole picture of degraded quality. That's done by basically you shine light, and then part of the light you deflect off to the side, and then it comes back. And that creates an interference pattern, which they capture somehow on a photo surface, right?
Right.
And that's how you make a hologram. So it's the microscope is doing something similar.
Yep. In the body, everything vibrates at its own frequency. Everything is awesome. It's this beautiful symphony. And if something's out of balance, it changes the frequency, which then creates that interference field, the disturbance field. It's kind of like dissonance in music. It strings out of tune a little bit. And yes, it's kind of like bats and dolphins, echolocation, bouncing energy off things. They can see things visually. So same idea. The microscope is kind of unique the way it does that with the light. And it's really interesting because you get these microscopes that have a turret where you can basically switch from phase contrast to dark field to bright field. So you keep the sample there. And when you see the holograms, you go to bright field and they disappear. So it's like magic in a way. Is that a good way to describe it, Sam?
Yeah. So that you showed some pictures where they were patients who had injuries or diseases, and you're literally like say they had a broken hand or broken arm or something, or an old injury that's, you know, healed but not healed properly and is blocking some flow in the body, that's actually showing up in the blood, in similar to Veda Austin's work with the freezing the water, where where it's imprinting, you know, it's just showing, it's almost like the body is pointing the way and saying, pay attention to this.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. The body's trying to communicate. And if you listen, you hear these things. You know, it's the type of thing where we have been taught to not trust our gut, trust our instinct. You have to appeal to the expert for these things. You don't know, you're not a doctor. But the reality is, you know your body better than anybody. You know, you're an expert in yourself. So if you listen, you hear these things. And we've done this before where we've looked at someone's blood, we show them all these images, and they kind of go, well, I knew that. It's like, yeah, but you didn't know how it fit together, and you forgot about this piece to the puzzle. So the reality is, if you're really conscious about what's going on with your body, you don't need us to look at your blood. And all we really do is translate what your body's trying to say. So there's a point in time even where I don't look at my blood, not very often, because I've done it enough. I know what's going on. And this is the way we work. We're here to educate people, empower them. We see your situation. You see your blood. There's your uniqueness. And then we give you the tools. We show you what other people have gone through in similar situations to get to better spots in their life. And then it's kind of on you. You know, we educate people, and then you got to do your damn homework. You've been a part of the problem. You need to be a part of the solution. But the things we see, we see things that match anatomy books. You know, the kidney image matches the book. The femur image matches the anatomy books. You know, I have x-rays that show the same images we're seeing, sonograms that are showing the same thing. And Veda Austin stuff is great. You know, Dr. Moto, what Dr. Moto was doing was trying to show us how emotions affect us. And he shows us how the emotions affect the water and things like that. And what we didn't know about Dr. Moto was he tried to do what he did with the water. He tried to do it with the blood first, but he wasn't able to do it. So when he found out about our father's work, he was thrilled because we see emotions in the blood. It's all there. I mean, all the information, everything we need is here. All the ingredients, we have everything within us. It's a question of creating the right circumstances and supporting the body. It really is. It's an amazing machine, if you want to call it a machine. It's an amazing, we are miracles. It's amazing what this thing can do. Got to support it.
As a chiropractor, I work a lot with muscle testing when I'm, you know, working with patients. It's both a diagnostic tool, but also a way of showing them where they have functional deficits. Because when there's any kind of a blockage in the spine or you know, problems with muscles, you can test and it doesn't respond quickly. It doesn't respond the way it should, and it's very, very easily overpowered. And so I remember one of my teachers, I was at, you know, we were asking different questions about it. And at one point he said, you know, what you're really doing when you're muscle testing is you're asking the patient or the patient's body, how can I be of service to you?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very interesting take on it because, you know, it's a powerful tool for helping people to understand. Oh wow, why can't I do that? I should be able to do that. And then if they get an adjustment and that function changes after, then it's not just a placebo effect. They're like, whoa, wait a minute, I couldn't lift my leg before and now I can. It's like that's an objective measurement criteria that's a value, because then they see the value of the care as well.
Yeah, definitely. And this is what we need as humans. You know, we need a little bit of that feedback. You know, we're not sure. We question ourselves. So you take some action, you get some reaction out of it. And you know, what we did was great. At the same time, Dad never really documented a lot of this. You know, the only real proof that we had that what we did worked was people got better, you know, the results. And it's a fun thing too, because, you know, I can tell you about terrain all day long. I know how the body works. It's awesome. So I can tell you about it, but until you see that damn picture, there's only so much you hear.
Yeah. And for people listening that are not familiar with his work, it is extremely visual. It's like me trying to talk about the work that I've done with the mountain or with heartstones and to do it with just words. It's very visual. And my presentation in Anarchapulco was entirely visual. And I would say yours is the same, because the proof is in the pudding. When you see the pictures, you know, people might initially think, oh yeah, you could manipulate this and fake it in some way. But no, you see enough of them, you realize this is actually in the blood, but it's not really in the blood, because if it was in the blood wouldn't be able to flow. So what the heck are you seeing there?
Yeah.
What you're seeing is essentially, I don't know, it's magic.
It's magic. It's really, to me, it's this whole information, energy, matter. You know, there's information in the body. It affects the energy of the experience. And what we're seeing is images in the blood that are much bigger than red cells. We're taking blood from capillaries, you know, and this is a big deal for people that have seen a lot of these,
which are
images.
One cell wide.
Yeah, right. One cell wide. So the reality is the images we're seeing could not physically fit through a capillary. If these images were in your bloodstream physically, something would get clogged. You would have a problem. I mean, you could have a stroke, basically, which is also interesting information for people thinking about all these ridiculous images they have seen over the last 2 or 3 years from all microscopists regarding stupidity in the world. We'll get no more into that. But what I'll tell you is
you mean the CGI photographs? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean, people are actually showing images of what I've seen for decades and saying it's other things.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is this, though. This is like magic to me. This is the blood leaves the body through a capillary. One red cell can fit through at a time. And basically, you're getting energy becoming physically manifested based on imbalance in the body as the blood is leaving the body. You know, it is like magic. But the thing is this. I mean, come on, Mike. Life is magical. When you see what you see and what I see, what I've seen, we've seen magic, right? I mean, you know, what I believe the unbelievable, you know, when I see children reading with blindfolds on without using their eyes, I know there's more to this world than what we think and what we think we know, right?
And
so,
I witnessed children doing just that in Mexico in a way that was unfakeable.
Oh yes. Don't let the cat out of the bag for people listening.
I'm not
Marcelina was here.
But
There's going to be some interesting. You're going to see the unbelievable, and it's up to people whether they believe it or not.
I've only had a couple of experiences of the paranormal. I mean, for me, synchronicity is a form of paranormality, right? And I've had many, many synchronicities in my life, which I'd like to share with the listeners on my channel. But as far outside of the realm of synchronicity, I've only had 2 experiences in my life where I witnessed what I could only describe as real magic, and and that was one of them. So I can't wait until the cat is out of the bag on that one.
It's gonna be fun.
People are going to be really scratching their heads on that one.
Well, and this is part of our deal now is, you know, putting the wonder and the awe back in the awesomeness that is our lives. You know, everyone is so afraid of so many things. There's so many awesome things going on these days. You know, and it's really crazy. When we got together in Anarchapulco, it was really neat because, dude, these damn giant trees, I'm seeing them everywhere now. You know, it's like, damn it.
Welcome to my mania.
Stupid movie. It's like, oh, there's a giant tree. You know what I mean? But something, you know, it's like there's a regrouping, there's a gathering, you know, and I think it's Josh and I were just on with Topher the other day, you know.
Oh, and, nice. I haven't seen that.
He just recorded it yesterday, 2 days ago.
Cool.
I don't even know what day today is. But the thing is, we need to stay connected. You know, we need what you've done, what I've done with Sam, the things that you've with connecting people is really cool. You know what I mean? So we go out, we do our things. You do this, right? I do my show, you know, and we all do our separate things. But then we get together, and something really interesting happens, right? And then we go back to our thing, you know. So
synergy.
It's awesome, but something like it's nice that you texted me and I happen to be sitting here and it's like, oh, I got stuff to do and I missed the damn thing. Oh no, they're on right now. Like, I think we need to do more of these things. We need to continue to connect more dots. You know, it's really, there's so much going on out there that if we can focus, where do we put our attention, right? Are you going to go outside and stare at that damn chemtrail, which is 1/100th of a percentage of what we can be observing in our awesome experience, right? Where do we put the focus? Are we going to put our focus on creating our health or being afraid of getting, you know, infected by something? But I really think it's interesting. What went on with Anarchapulco is cool. I think that Music and Sky is going to be nice because there's going to be another regrouping, right? But it's still a question of,
you were there last year, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there. I just showed up kind of last minute, which was unexpected for me. So I didn't do any presenting or anything like that. It was awesome.
Oh.
It's just nice. I mean, come on, it's nice to be at a place with people like you and Sam for 4 or 5 days. You know, I mean,
Best parties ever.
Well, I said this to Topher, you know, it's like, I'm not the bar guy, but you know, we were at Max Egan's bar every night and it wasn't talking about the Charger game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And alcohol wasn't the point.
No,
it was just a byproduct.
Yeah, right. It was just, you had the drink just so no one harassed you and tried to make you take more shots. Damn it. Thank you.
And
Steve
the music was fun as well. One thing, are they called somatids? I'm just thinking back to the blood again. Is that what the little tiny things? So yes. I learned the term pleomorphism from you. Actually, I probably learned it in chiropractic college and forgot it. But you know, the idea of one thing morphing into increasingly complex whatevers.
Yeah, those little guys, you know, Wilhelm Reich talked about bions, mesons.
These are just to clarify for people, these on the dark field microscope, they look like little points of light and then they do stuff. And so like you see the cell and it's like this big and then there will be like a little tiny thing that looks like a little satellite or something, you know. Yeah. And it's wild, the stuff you showed.
Oh, it's fun. Hours of fun. For people listening, BigelsonAcademy.com. Go check out some of our stuff. It's neat. These things, what we're doing to me is such interesting, what we're all doing is such interesting cutting edge experience, you know, and I'm amazed that it's like I'm a music teacher, you know, and here I am talking about these things in the blood that help us to create who we are. They help us to decompose. They never die. All right. So the reality is when we die, these little things, they go back into the terrain, they go back into the environment, into the experience. So I know for a fact that part of us never dies. I look at this all the time in the microscope. And to me, that's kind of a big deal. You know, I mean, it's like, we don't know what happens after we die, but I can tell you that part of you continues, you know, and these little guys, they permeate. They've been in limestone millions of years old. They've been in, we've seen them in the soil and plants. Josh has looked at blood of animals, right? So this is the smallest life form. And this is the Wilhelm Reich experiment. Wilhelm Reich observed grass decomposing over a period of time. And he saw these little things, the little bions coming out of the grass. And then he saw them recreate new life. So yeah, part of us never dies and creates new life. So as someone you know passes away, it's the physical thing is one thing, but that energetic experience I know continues. And who the hell am I? You know, it's like, I'm music teacher guy, you know what I mean? The son of Harvey Bigelson.
You know what? The powerhouses in the health freedom movement, the truth movement, the flat earthers, all like some of the most amazing minds are musicians. And I have, or comedians. Like I have I think that the smartest people in the world are the musicians and the comedians, and then they diversify, but that's kind of their foundation.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you know what? Berlando said that to me once. I've said this a lot, where I'm just a music teacher. And he would say, don't say just. Yeah. You know, and he said that. He said, you know more about frequency vibration than most trained health professionals. And it's that outside perspective that can go, well, what about this? And I've done it a few times. It's like, no ego, but I'm kind of impressed with myself. You know, the reality is this, though. It's those crazy ideas out of left field. You know, like for people listening, if you've got this weird thought that just, I don't know, it seems to make sense to me, but share it with somebody. You know, my dad was with, it was Dr. Thomas Rau, who's the Paracelsus Clinic in Switzerland, who was a very big deal at a point in time. Not saying that at this point in time. Ho'oponopono, no judgments, right? But Dad was with him at one point and was a little starstruck, because Thomas was somebody, and Dad said to him, like, there was an event, afterwards dinner, they were at the bar, and Dad's like, I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna say it. He said, you know what, Thomas? He said, I think chronic disease is 1,000% triggered emotionally. And Thomas said, me too. And Deb was like, "Oh my God, I'm not." And he said, "I think I'm crazy. I thought I was crazy." You know, the reality is, look what comes from crazy people, right?
Hmm.
You know, I mean, these crazy people that ended up in strange places. Well, a few years later, we realized they weren't so crazy. You know, I mean, come on, giant trees, that's crazy, or not.
Hmm.
You know, little things in the blood that you know we don't die, that's crazy, or not. What I like about all that we do is the consistencies. You know, this is where the truth is we can remove inconsistencies. I don't know everything, definitely. I don't. I know a lot about what we've done. And it's interesting, Mike, because Josh and I didn't think we were, it's not that we're smart people. We just grew up in a different world. Our perspective was different. You know, Tom Cowan asked Josh once during one of our online things with him and Kaufman, he said, "When did the terrain start for you?" And Josh said, "I've never known any different. Like, this is just how we grew up. And we've always thought we were a little weird, you know, like we speak a different language. And I guess we did. So these days, people are actually interested in learning our language. It's kind of nice. You know, the terrain is like the thing all of a sudden. Yay. And I'll tell you this too. My dad always said this. He said he didn't think he wasn't sure if he was that good at what he did or that everyone else was just that bad. You know, that they're just going the total wrong direction. Western medicine, and I'll tell you this one, I mentioned this in my presentation. Western medicine says hepatitis is you have a virus that attacks the liver and creates inflammation, and it's hepatitis. But the reality is it's exactly backwards. The body creates inflammation to heal. It's creating inflammation, it's affecting the liver, and then you have these symptoms they call hepatitis. It's just totally backwards. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a, you know, the line I come back to often is if they can get you asking the wrong questions, then it doesn't matter what your answers are. Right. And that's the nature of a faulty paradigm, is that's getting you to ask the wrong questions because you're starting with beliefs that don't actually gel with reality.
Right.
So,
isn't that interesting, huh? What questions are we asking? Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think when I first got exposed to the whole, you know, possibility that the Earth might not be a spinning ball, I just thought of it as, wow, this is a really interesting intellectual exercise. It's something that I never thought about. I was taught that it was a superstition that was just stupid, and you know, and that there were all these ways to prove that it wasn't, that, you know, and the more I got into it, the more complex it got. And, you know, now you've got people like Austin Whitsitt who are debating PhD physicists and, you know, kicking butt. And if it's that stupid, why can a flat earther take on a PhD physicist and at least hold their own? Yeah. It like, you know, and then you get these people asking the question, well, like, well, if the Earth is flat, then why are the planets, you know, round? And it's like, okay, that's a kindergarten question when it comes to this topic. Yeah. And most people have been so brainwashed that they can't even go into it because they don't see it as an intellectual exercise. They just see it as something, oh, this is so stupid. You know, like, why would you waste your time with that? And it's like, well, it's not actually a waste of time observing your reality and, you know, trying to discern if there are patterns and does what we were told match up with what I'm actually experiencing.
Right. That was I think it was a Rudolf Steiner quote that Tom Cowan said, that do not negate what you perceive. So if you perceive it's spinning, you know, great. If you perceive it's flat, then just because some expert told you something different, you know, what is it you're supposed to do? Do you trust yourself or not? You know, do you trust what you perceive? I think that's important. And I don't know, I like what you said about being a globe skeptic. You know, my brain, I have to focus on blood, and there's only so much capacity I have, you know, before my head explodes. And it explodes. I have so much going on. It's like flat earth, a little tequila. Cool. We can chat about that for a bit. You know, I think it's cool. Anna knows some pilots. There's something to it.
I know a pilot who flew for Qatar, and he flew the biggest planes. And he's very much a flat earther.
I believe the unbelievable. I told you, I got a friend that works in an airport, and he watches the radar, and he's the guy that takes the video of that thing that's out there, but not on the radar. you know, like there's a lot of those things out there. So I believe the unbelievable. Part of it is funny. Is that what is of consequence to me in my life? You know, one thing is, well, you've been lied to. It's like, yeah, I know that. You know, I mean, from the medical thing, we wrote the book on medical conspiracy. Go get the book. It's out there, right? So we
literally wrote the book on it.
Literally, medical conspiracy. My dad wrote it. We have proof. They don't care about your health. That's the guy, the head of the medical board said, we didn't care your patient got better. My dad was brought up on charges of curing someone illegally, right? So I believe the unbelievable for
How
sure.
dare he?
That's, yeah, whatever. But at the same time, there's only so many places I can go right now. There's only so much depth my little brain can handle, you know? So it was cool to be in Anarchapulco and have some of these conversations. And it was so funny because Andrew Kaufman's awesome. As I'm hanging out with him at the bar and he's telling me, he's showing me the dollar bill. It's a note of debt. You know, and I'm going, so I could buy a cheeseburger with this debt, you know, like, and so I get it. There are things, there's more going on than we realize. And it's still, what I think is important is knowing what we can do about what's going on. And this is one thing I love about what we do is I can teach you things that you can try and it can change your health. You know, we can talk about the flat earth all day. I'm still not falling off of it, whether it's flat or whether it's round, right?
Yeah. That's a common thing of, you know, people are like, oh, well, I still have to go to work in the morning. What does it matter what the shape is? And that's also, yeah, it doesn't, that in and of itself doesn't matter, but understanding that if it isn't what we're told, then the implications of that information are all encompassing and touch on so many different aspects of life. The number one being discernment and our ability to actually discern is life important. You know, I mean, we saw that during the last 4 years. If you didn't have some degree of discernment, you probably got unknown things floating around in your bloodstream that you don't want there. Right. So discernment is incredibly important. And I don't argue for a particular shape. I'm a globe skeptic, but I you know, I definitely feel that that it's digging into that subject. I call it the skeleton key of conspiracy theories, because when you start to dig into it, you start to connect all kinds of dots that otherwise wouldn't connect, because you wouldn't realize they were related. Sure. And that's when the tapestry starts to fill in. You start to get a bigger vision. Well,
and this is, I think what's very important about it too, is the awe, the wonderment. You know, for me to be like, when I hear with you with the giant trees, now I have a new sense of awe in my life. And it makes me wonder, you know, it's not that, well, we came from aliens and we know everything. You know what I mean? It's like, no, there's a lot. So I think the best thing is having us think, you know, letting us really, to talk about these things. You know, it's not going to school and just learning what to regurgitate. It's let's think about this. Let's talk about this. I really wonder, you know, I mean, and it's neat. If I think about, okay, it is flat, I wonder, that's important. I think wonder is very important for us. You know what I mean? It just brings this magical experience and the awe back into the awesomeness that is what we have going on. And I also think that's part of what's gone on is, you know, we are individual miracles. You know, what's going on in your body right now, when I look at the blood and I see white cells attaching to holograms, but the holograms aren't real. If the white cells, like, I know your body's working right now on you. It's trying to fix that tooth. It's trying to, you know, help you with your emotions. It's trying to align your sacrum when you fell on your butt. You know, it's awesome. It amazes me. You know, the lymphatic system. Wow, have you seen videos of the fascia and the connective tissue? Like, that's crazy what's going on in there. Just what the blood does. This is
anyone who's not seen the documentary Strolling Under the Skin.
That's the one.
Must see it, because the fascia is not what you thought. It's not what you think.
No. It's just an adhesion. It's not a big deal.
It's just a connective tissue. Like they used to call the brain, you know, the glia cells, the glue cells, because they didn't know what they did. So they just called them like, that's what's holding everything else together. And it's just the neurons that are doing the job.
Right. No big deal.
Way more complex than that. Shiva
Right.
Shampoo wrote in the chat. He said, "You guys were terrain from birth," and he just reminded me of my favorite T-shirt, which says, "Germs are us"
Yep.
on the front,
Did I give you one?
and
Yes, I gave you
then
one.
on the back it says, "The microbe is nothing, the terrain
Yeah.
is all." And
And
I
you
love
guys,
that quote.
you have one, and Sam, you got one. We're T-shirt buddies. Yay! Not many people have those
Yay.
T-shirts.
Yeah, that was a gift from Adam.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's these little things when we know the germ is helping. Dad says life is happening for you, not to you. Everything is not a coincidence. I really appreciate all of this. And I look forward to getting together with you guys again at Music and Sky. There's something bigger to be said about really sharing energy together, sharing space. It's neat that you're in Spain right now, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes. The world has gotten smaller for us. We've been divided and conquered, but we're doing it. I'm in Mexico. You're in Spain, Sam, California, so we can do this. And the reality is, give it a few months and we get to be together. And then the thing is, the best thing after that is taking some of each other's energy back to where we came from.
It was really fun because I continued on to California, and then I went down to San Diego and I met with Sam again. I shared some photographs and video clips from those journeys. But it was also frustrating because I was without my laptop, and it was like 3-4 weeks. So I'm just finally getting to this recap that everyone else was doing days after the event, and they're riding this high of like, wow, this was so much fun, And it's like I've met all these incredible people, and we're connecting and sharing ideas, and so this is like,
4 weeks later,
yeah.
Don't feel bad, dude. I haven't shared anything, so don't feel bad. And I feel
how dare you?
I know, and I
stingy little.
I lived in the moment. There was all these moments. I thought at one point at the bar, I was like, hey, can I take a picture? With Kaufman, and he was like, no. And I was like, oh. And he was like, yeah, you can totally take a picture. He was giving me shit. I was like, oh, okay. But I feel like, wow, in the moment, I should have shared more. I mean, I like sharing the joy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I need the assistant. Sam, damn it, take pictures for me and share the damn pictures, right?
Well, that's one of the fun things with my, because Alex Michael, Conspiracy Music Guru, is my best friend, and so I'm often there as the documenter. So I'm like an extra set of hands, and so I've gotten so much great footage over the years that he never would have gotten if it wasn't for our friendship. So.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good to have somebody there that's a fly on the wall. And I haven't even, I didn't really introduce Sam properly in the beginning, because people might be wondering, who's the Sam guy? He's just sitting there, he's listening all the time, and he's not a content producer. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, and he's what I would call a shadow influencer. He's like the spider in the net that's connecting all the dots and all the people together, and he's like, I think this person would go good with this group, and that person would go good with that group. And then he makes it happen. So, for a guy who's not putting out any videos or doing it, he's making stuff happen that's big. And
well, this is
especially for my life. So
this is important too, Sam. I mean, for all of us, it takes a village, right? That whole idea. I've got so much going on. I'm so excited. I mean, there's so much awesomeness happening, and I'm overwhelmed. I'm juggling like a damn circus clown, and I got to tell you, even recently, Anarchapulco happened. It was this expansion. And I came home and was like, whoa, what was that? And I tried to catch up for a week, and then I had a retreat I did. And then it was expansion. And then after that, crazy stuff went on. And I totally went into like contraction. It's like I went out into the world and all this stuff, and I came home and went, whoa.
Back to life, back to reality.
Well, and then I feel
back to routine.
Well, then I feel alone. We get into this grind of stuff, and I do these webinars, and I have people show up. I had a few people from Anarchapulco join, and they were like, "Oh my God, like how is it you only have, 17 people showing up?" We were on with Veda Austin. We had a chat with her. She reached out. She said, "Hey, I've heard of you guys. I want to know more," and we had a great conversation. And in the end, she's got images from us. She's putting us in her new book, which is awesome. And I shared just a picture, and people were like, oh my God, like we got, it's funny because I watched some of your stuff, and it's like all of a sudden there's a few new subscribers and followers on Instagram, and people are like, dude, how do you have no followers? Like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, I know.
You're the best kept secret.
We're busy.
I had never heard of Vade Austin's work until I got to Mexico, and it's absolutely, jaw-dropping, the stuff that she's doing.
It's cool. Well,
yeah.
we're stuck in a microscope, and this is the power of everybody. Okay, no one's above or beneath anybody, right? What Veda's doing, she's reaching a lot of people. Emoto reached so many people. Josh and I, we're not yelling and screaming. We're just trying to, keep our shit together here and make sure our business works, because we're brothers, and that's really fun with family business, So at this point, though, it's you guys, everyone's important. When Sam connects us, I mean, Sam, you brought Don Lester over to the house after Music and Sky. That was awesome. And now we have a great connection. Everyone is so important. So people listening, for you guys to share, Mike's stuff is important. And it's these little seeds, guys. Right. You plant one seed of doubt, one seed of hope, and just throw the seeds out and see what happens. So I really, Sam, you're awesome. You're like me, which is funny. Someone said to me once, "You're the glue." It's like, is this what I put on my business card? I'm the glue. I'm the people person. I'm a people person.
So someone, Shiva just called Sam. He said Sam is like the glia cells in the brain, the glue that holds it all together.
It's a good thing, man.
Someone asked, "Where's Sam?" Sam is in Prague right now on
I'm in
vacation
Prague
with his family.
Oh shit!
So he's coming to us live from the old
from my
world.
Airbnb.
Nice.
And someone asks, "Have you seen Santos?" I don't know why. Adam.
Huh.
Has Adam seen Santos? I'm assuming they mean Santos Bonacci, but
no,
I'm not sure.
No, I have seen very little because I spent a lot of life in the microscope aside from teaching music. You'd be surprised at what I've seen and what I haven't seen. It's pretty amazing. But show me if I need to see something. Show me, definitely. So, and I wanted to say a couple of things real quick. As you were mentioning, as I popped on Music and Sky, I'm excited about it. This time that I know that I'm going, I would love people to be there. And I want to hang out with people. I really enjoy hanging out with people. And it was nice at Anarchapulco. Winsome Kind, that guy Scott and Leora, the musicians, awesome people. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with them. I'm excited they're going to be there. When I did Anarchapulco, Steve Falconer, to connect with him was a trip. And I sat with these people and I said, "I've heard your name. I have to be honest, I have no idea who you are, what you talk about." But Steve and I were like, he's like my new best friend. You know what I mean? He dragged me on stage. We played music. You mentioned Justin. That just did the documentary that's going to be there. What's his last name? I forgot.
Leslie.
Thank you, Justin Leslie. I met him at Music and Sky. It was really nice to talk to him, and I connected him with my Anna. And it's nice because he talks about her. He says what she talks about makes more sense than what anybody's saying as far as what's going on.
Yeah, I mentioned she gave a great talk, but I didn't talk at all about her talk. Maybe you'd like to say a few words, because she's doing incredible work as well, and it's distinct from you and your family's work. Yeah, she's got her own stuff going on.
She's a superhero. I mean, she's got videos with over 1 million views. She was one of the top 10 liars in all of whatever we call the pandemic experience in all of Europe.
Top 10 what?
Liars. Like she was
I mean, she made the Dirty Dozen list, or what?
She was targeted. She was targeted. There were death threats and shit like that. So
shit. She had like Mercola, Kelly Brogan, Mercola's wife, Erin, Health Nut News.
Yeah,
Anna
that's
was
in
on
the
that
States.
list.
No, she was in the European list.
Oh, the European. Okay, but that's still like the ultimate badge of honor, man.
Yeah. Well, and this is
if you make those lists, you're obviously making waves and doing good stuff.
No, she knows what she's doing. Well, and I'll tell you what she just did. She's so thrilled with Justin. She says, this guy is so brave and he's smart. He's not stupid. She took his documentary. She just translated it into Spanish. Like she did the voiceover for the whole thing. So she's getting that to the Spanish speaking community, which is really nice.
Awesome.
And this is important too. Anna's a superhero in a world I never knew existed. There's more Spanish-speaking people in this world than English-speaking people. You know this, right? So Anna's a PhD in biomedicine. She's a master's in engineering. She worked in a nanobiotechnology laboratory for years. She's the only one in the whole pandemic experience out of anyone talking that I have come across that has actually worked in a nanobiotechnology laboratory. So as far as I'm concerned, she's the only one I will listen to in relation to any nanotechnology. And I think the same should be for the rest of you out there. Okay. I'm not telling you what to do and how to think, but I want to know from someone that's had experience, and no one else has, who is sharing anything nanotechnology related except for Anna. So that says one thing about her. But she's the electrical experience of the body. So she's lectured, she's shared stage with Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza and things like that. And she talks about her initial PhD was on doing an electrical antibiotic. And then she realized that's not how things work. You know, so the electrical experience of the body, you know, she definitely can talk to you. If you want to question my work, my scientist girlfriend will tear you apart. She can tell you all the science behind what it is that is going on, you know, with us, you know, the electrical charges with the cells in relation
It's always good to have a bodyguard.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, she'll protect me. But she's done real research. You know, she spent time in laboratories. So she has real experience. She's done tens of thousands of scans with the BioWell device. The inventor wrote the foreword to her book. She worked at Shaw Wellness, one of the most well-known famous clinics in all of Europe. Her patients were sheiks and shahs and princesses and World Cup soccer players. So, you know, after tens of thousands of scans, she has seen patterns. And what's nice about her is when we met her, one of her friends had a health issue, and Josh and I did the blood. And the way we came about this case blew Anna's mind. She was like, with all my devices and all my knowledge, I could not have got to the conclusion that you guys came to as quickly as you did, or maybe at all. So she really is awesome support for what we do. And she's
one of the most wonderful ladies I've ever met. You really scored there. You lucked out.
I still wonder how that happened.
I'm just bummed. We were basically neighbors. We were living within 30-40 minutes of each other for a couple of years in Spain, and we didn't know each other then. That was a drag to find out. But.
You know what? I got to think though that the universe, it almost happened, but there was a timing thing, right? So we're connected now. We'll see what happens next, right? But I appreciate you asking about her. There's a whole other world out there, people. You know, I mean,
and for people, you know, again, the restream on Anarchapulco. It's a one-time fee. It's not very expensive. It's a five days of conference, and there's no expiration date on it. And you won't be disappointed if you go through the speakers' presentations one by one. It's really worth it. Yeah. I wanted to let you know also my Clinic Buddy. You asked me about Clinic Buddy.
Oh yeah.
And just so happens my buddy that I co-founded the company with. He came down and visited with his son last week, and I mentioned your stuff and I mentioned your work, so he's interested to know more, and he could possibly help you with the database.
Please,
stuff.
God, please.
Yeah. So that he might be the guy you need to talk to.
All right.
So
cool.
I'll put you guys in touch.
Please. Thank you.
Yeah. We've been going for 3.5 hours. That was totally unexpected, but not if you know my channel and you know my live streams. Actually, I tend to get on a roll. I can go this long just by myself without even having a bunch of wonderful guests. I can't believe all the people who showed up today. It was awesome. It was amazing.
Nice.
And yeah. Oh, I had two things I was going to say. One, someone mentioned Santos. Because he's apparently pretty close to you. He's in Mexico. Santos Bonacci. He's Mr. Astrotheology. He had a channel with 300,000 subs that got yanked. He kind of had a conniption fit and said a bunch of stuff he shouldn't have, and so they took him out. I'm surprised they didn't take him out a lot sooner with all the stuff he'd been saying for years. He's definitely one of the OGs when it comes to truthing, and he's definitely somebody to look into and maybe connect with.
Somebody introduced me.
Yeah, and then we were talking about musicians, and I just was reminded of, again, Steve Falconer, who's also a music teacher, and he's not a doctor, and he's not, he's just a guy who's interested in stuff and asks questions you're not supposed to ask, and now he's got videos that are basically, turning virology on its inside out, upside down, and throwing it out basically. and you know, he's connected with and is collaborating with numerous PhD, you know, doctors, and doing incredible work. So just because you don't have letters after your name doesn't mean you can't make an impact and send ripples throughout the construct creation.
Definitely, I support that.
So maybe this is a good time to, unless you guys have something else you want to add before we sign off.
I'm just happy I got to come to the party. Yeah, even though the party was ending.
No,
Oh man, this is great. I'm so glad we were just about to close it up when you came in, and this is definitely worth it in every way. So
Cool.
yeah.
I'm psyched. Good stuff, guys. Awesome to see. I'm gonna go eat some tacos. I think I'll eat one for you guys.
Oh yeah, I don't need tacos for a while. I'm still tacoed out after Mexico. As a vegetarian, that was like my only option for a week straight. So
that's right. I forgot.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I had tacos yesterday, actually. I really did. So
awesome.
Yeah. Well, guys, let's say, and I've tried to interact with the chat as much as possible. I'm not so good with, you know, running a stream and interacting with the chat, but you know, we still got 160 people watching. It's been wonderful to have you all along. Mm-hmm. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, we'll do some more collabs. You know, I'd like to have you on and go into more depth, and you can show pictures for your work, because it's so visual. Yeah, one of the best comments that I ever had, you know, regarding the tree thing and the Titan Mountain and all that stuff is, your videos are stronger than psychedelics because they don't wear off.
Nice. The wonder continues. Good stuff, man.
Yeah. Right on, guys. Well, I'm gonna hit the button here. Thanks so much for coming. It was wonderful for you to be here, Sam and Adam. And until next time.
Sounds great.
Hasta luego. Hasta luego.
Ciao.